Hi everybody, I am JayLeonardJ, and today I'm going to give you a full rig rundown and playthrough of all the gear I'm using for this show at the Stanley Theater Cambodian Rock Band. For all of the subscribers out there, you might notice that I've been a little bit missing for the last 2 months. The reason why is because I've been in rehearsals and performances for the show happening in this theater. This is the Stanley Theater in Vancouver, British Columbia. It's about a 600-seat venue. We've been doing about 8 shows a week for the last month for a show called Cambodian Rock Band. A lovely, lovely performance. I play one of the lead characters called Lang, who's a little bit of a good guy, a little bit of a bad guy. It's a heartbreaking role. I have to die on stage, a lot of crazy stuff, I have to cry, all the feelings, all the wonderful stuff. But really what makes this play really special to me is the fact that the cast is also the live band for this musical theater production. And all the music is classic Cambodian rock music, as well as music by this wonderful band called Dengue Fever, which is blending really cool surf sounds and really cool psychedelic tunes. What a great show for a guitar player to do. So what I wanted to do today is take a little bit of time to talk about the gear that I'm using, the sounds that I'm getting in the show, and show you exactly how I blend it all together. So let's jump into it and have ourselves some fun. I was definitely going for like a super psychedelic, super surfy kind of sound, so I was really digging into some classic old stuff, and when it came to the guitars, I really wanted to double down on that retro 60s kind of thing. So the show takes place, with the music mainly takes place in like 1975, but I decided to take it a little bit more to the 60s. So my main guitar for this show is this one over here. I got myself a Fender Jaguar. It's a custom shop Fender Jaguar, and I think this guitar is absolutely fantastic. As you can tell, I really did nothing to it. There's only one mod I actually did to this guitar. It's pretty stock, but what I do have is, these are usually on-off switches on the guitar. I have it so that way when both of these are up and both of these are down, they both have both pickups on at the same time. So I can't accidentally turn off my pickups by accident. Sometimes when you have these two things down, it kills the signal. And I hate that because I always accidentally hit it down on the downstroke, so I just wired it so that if both are up or both are down, you're still gonna hear the guitar going on, because I will definitely make that mistake. My backup guitar is actually a Fender Jazzmaster, and this is a guitar you've probably seen quite a bit before. It's my custom shop Fender Jazzmaster from Fender, and actually this one is pretty stock-ish. I did do a couple changes. I did put the original custom shop pickups back in there. There's 250K pots going on over here. And I think besides that, everything else is stock. I did a couple wiring mods to this guitar before in the past, but I kind of put it back to its original setup just for this show, just to keep things a little bit more period correct. That being said, in 1960s, they weren't using 250K pots, but I figured, why not? That's what came with the guitar, and I actually think it works better that way, so that's where I have it. And I also have that like fancy custom shop bridge on there too, which I think is cool. But most of the time, 90% of every time I'm using this guitar, it's gonna be this one over here. I'm pretty much using this the entire show. This is just if something goes wrong. All right, so this is the pedal board I have on stage. I got a little wah-wah, which I use a little bit for the solos when I want to cut through. The main heart of this whole thing actually is this. This is the Chief Disruptor by KMA. probably one of my favorite Big Muff Pie style pedals out there. I use this a ton for the show, as well as this over here, the Hydra, which is just a tremolo reverb. Keep it on the spring setting, keep it on like the classic triangle tremolo. I have the Bell Epoch Deluxe, which I use for some of the slapback stuff. For solos, I keep it in a slapback setting. When I want to get super psychedelic, I got the Retro Vibe by Jam Pedals, and that is kind of like a univibe style pedal, and it's used quite sparingly. And finally, the tuner. And I use the tuner because it makes everybody in the audience significantly happier when my guitar's in tune. And all the way back here in the back is a deluxe reverb. It's the Tone Master one. This is actually not my amp. This was supplied for by the company. And I also have a Morley AB box, so I can switch between my two guitars when I need to get an emergency switch out, which I have had to use at least a couple times during this run. All right, so now that you know what I'm using in the show, let's go hear what it actually sounds like. Most of the time when I'm using the show, because the music is mainly of classical Cambodian rock tunes and a band called Dengue Fever, it's a lot of surfy stuff, a lot of psychedelic stuff. For me personally, I like to lay on the psychedelic side of things, but the basis of my sound is that surf sound. So what I like to do for most of the show really is I'm in the bridge pickup of my Jaguar, and I have the Hydra on. So there's a reverb and a tremolo on, and it gives me that surfy sound I'm looking for with just a little bit of sandpaper. So I would say for the vast majority of this show, I'm just on the bridge pickup. However, there are a couple songs where it's just a guitar and a voice. And when that's happening, I do want to fill up my sound a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll go to the neck pickup. However, I find that when I'm in the neck pickup, it might be a little bit too full in the low end. So what I do is when I'm on the neck pickup, I'll actually activate the strangle switch and it'll just tighten up the low end so I have fullness, which will work well if it's just guitar alone, but still have a little bit of that extra bit of clarity and surfiness to go with it. Cool sound, right? So that's my clean sound. I'm pretty much just sticking with that on all the time. That's the basis. However, I do go quite fuzzy in the show, and I go fuzzy quite often. And my fuzz pedal that I use here is the KMA Chief Disruptor. I like it because it's a very modern fuzz. It gives me the cut I need to stick out in this theater. This theater has a lot of natural reverberation, so it gives me the articulation I need. So I keep it in the tight setting. And what I also like about it is the clean blend. I blend in the clean sound, so it just really works well. When I turn on the fuzz, it doesn't sound too separate from my clean sound. So this is the KMA fuzz. Now the Big Muff is a great choice for this because it works with the time period that the show takes place in. Also, it's very friendly to the wireless units I'm using, to the fact that, you know, something like a fuzz face or a tone bender, they don't sound good when you have something like a wireless system. This holds up really, really well. The sound doesn't change, and it gives you everything you want in that vintage style. So it works really, really great. And also, because I have that ability to tighten up the low end, I could add the reverb and the tremolo in there and still have definition, which is really what sold this pedal for the show for me. There are a couple times where I want that fuzz to stick out a little bit, like I'm doing a lead line. That has a little bit of a mid button over here. Gives me a little bit more mids to play with, makes the line stick out. So if I have a line like this, here's with the mids. Sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? I think it sounds pretty neat. If I'm doing a solo, what I'll usually do is I'll turn off the tremolo and the reverb and actually activate the Bell Epoch Deluxe. So one thing that I love about the Bell Epoch Deluxe is it has a buffer in it, and the buffer's on all the time. And because I'm going digital with the wireless, I'm going digital with the amp, the preamp in the Bell Epoch is going to fatten up the sound, really make it juicier and give it a slight amount of compression, just brings a little bit more life and organicness to the sound. But I also use it for the solos. So I keep it in a slapback setting, and that way when I do my solos cut out and they have a little bit of presence without getting too mucky. It's just enough of a slapback feel to make it kind of sizzle out more forward. Check this out. There's also a spot where we're trying to get like a war sound of weapons and everything going crazy, and that's when I like to activate the oscillations in the pedal. It makes it sound really, really crazy. Really, really cool effect. I only use it for the solos, but I find that just having that preamp in there, it just makes everything sound better when the pedal's on and when it's off. It's just a really cool pedal to have on the board. I do use the same sound too when I'm doing the solo on the neck with the strangle switch as well, and that has a really cool sound. I'll go here, slap back, and then we get this nice full sound. But there's one more thing I add when I do that sound with the neck pickup, and that is I add the retro vibe. That's gonna give me that swirly psychedelic sound that really fills it up. I keep it nice and, subtle, but it really makes a wonderful difference. And then when I do a couple big psychedelic guitar solos later on in the show, I also use it with my bridge pickup alone, and that sounds rad. A little bit of wah pedal to make some fun lines stick through. There's one song that I use the wah for as well, and that's just to kind of bring more interest in it. I have a repetitive line where I'm just going like... If I want to bring a little bit more excitement to the third verse, I add the wah just to make it a little bit more interesting for the audience. But besides that, I'll use the wah to punch out a couple lines here and there. I'll use it for that section, but I'm not relying on it super, super heavy. But I can't make a board without a wah pedal. It just makes everything sound better. So that's why it's on the board. To round out everything, I got the Canvas Tuner by Walrus Audio to make sure I'm in tune. I got the Zuma by Strymon for my power supply because I need to have power. And pretty much just all of that. That's all the sounds I use for Cambodian rock band. Well, that's it. That is a video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the page if you haven't done so already, and check out the links in the description below. It really does help out the page. I have a new album coming out next month, so keep your eyes for it. Go find me on Spotify. Subscribe to my Spotify page. I believe I have a single up there right now, and I can't wait to drop this album and share it with you. I'm going to really miss doing this show. Closing day is in tomorrow, so I guess that's going to be it for me. That being said, I'll see you all soon. Take care, and goodbye.